Hey guys, hoping all is well with everyone. So in this video we're going to be continuing the read-along of the Secret Zoo, Secrets and Shadows by Brian Chick, continuing today with chapter 39. So in just kind of a recap of the past couple chapters, in the last chapter, Megan and Ella and Richie on Old Iron and Pinky Petals, Megan kind of made a lasting impression with just rampaging through the zoo crowd on Old Iron and just getting them to move out of the way, and Ella was like holding on for dear life while Richie was just trying to pedal along politely and like respectively through the crowd, and then just trying to get to Arctic Town as quickly as possible to aid and help Noah. And in the meantime, Blizzard and Podgy made a reappearance, helping Noah stay out of the viewer's sight, other than the two little girls that saw the shocking sight of a young boy being towed by his collar by a polar bear, which seemed to Noah a very familiar thing, but to two little kids, kind of very shocking. So we're going to start today with Chapter 39, and as always, feel free to follow along. Chapter 39, Flamingo Fountain. Noah rode Podgy through the underwater tunnel. Streaked with algae and slime, it had many branches, each one covered by a velvet curtain. Noah read the plates as they sped past. The polar pool, the secret water park, a lot of hippopotami. Podgy abruptly veered into a tunnel marked Flamingo Fountain. The new tunnel looked like the others Noah had seen, but longer. It continued straight for at least 100 feet before ending at a point of light. Seeming to understand that Noah needed a breath, Podgy picked up speed. Pressure built against Noah's face, and the air flaps on his cap wagged like the ears of a sprinting dog. They reached the end of the tunnel and emerged into a pool of water. This one was square and shallow. The big penguin leaped like a porpoise into the air so that Noah could breathe. As they splashed down, Noah fell off and tumbled, his arms and legs banging on the floor of the pool. When he stopped, he stood up in water that came to his chest. Sensing something beside him, he turned and saw a flamingo, a 2-story high statue of a pink flamingo, standing on one leg. Noah was in Famingo Fountain, the indoor fountain near the center of Clarksville Zoo. This time, the grottos hadn't opened to an exhibit or a sector. This time, they ended at an ordinary fountain. Noah watched Podgy circle back through the water and disappear into the tunnel. Noah was on his own from this point on. Famingo Fountain was housed in a small glass building. Noah stared through the clear wall in front of him and spotted 3 people, a boy on a pink bicycle and 2 girls on a smoky mini bike. He couldn't believe it. The Scouts! Noah staggered to the edge of the fountain and climbed out. He stepped through the glass door and stumbled over to his friends. "Noah?" Megan asked. "Megan?" Noah said. He pointed an unsteady finger at Old Iron. That's my mini bike." "Yeah, I know," said Megan. "We've got to get out of here. I think I just made a bunch of people really, really mad, and I don't want to hang around for questions." Ella hopped off Old Iron. "Here," she said to Noah. "I'll follow you guys." Noah climbed onto the mini bike and clasped his arms around Megan's waist. Megan turned to her friend and said, "Head to the back gates." She squeezed the throttle, spun Old Iron around, and raced the battered mini bike deeper into the zoo, Richie pedaling after her, and Ella following on foot. Chapter 40. The Escape into Giraffic Jam. As the Scouts raced across the empty zoo toward the back gates, someone charged out from behind Giraffic Jam, a young teenager with a knit cap and a big backpack. Tameron. He stepped onto the sidewalk, waving his hands over his head. Megan squeezed the brakes and narrowly avoided hitting him. Ella and Richie stopped too. Tameron looked furious. He said, "Can't go that way. Cops are all over the exits." "Cops?" Megan said. "The police are here?" "I guess someone didn't appreciate you guys almost running them over at the gates. People got cell phones, you know." "Then where—" "This way," Tameron said. "We need to hide you out. Follow me." He led the scouts to Giraffic Jam, where 2 security guards ran up to them. "Take the bikes," Tameron said. "Hide them." The guards shot angry looks at the scouts, snatched away the bikes, then quickly rolled them off. "Let's go," Tameron said. The descender led the scouts into Giraffic Jam. The circular building was twice the size of a movie theater. At least 30 feet overhead, ivy-covered walls ended a domed ceiling made of glass and framed with narrow steel beams. Trees were scattered about, and waterfalls splashed into shallow beds. In front of the scouts, a flight of steps rose to a wooden deck. More than 10 feet off the ground, this deck circled the interior of the building, providing a place for visitors to feed the giraffes. The animals would stretch their necks over the railing of the walkway and use their long tongues to lap pellets from the visitors' palms. "Come on," Tameron said. He charged up the stairs and the scouts followed, their footfalls thumping on the planks. Sunlight pierced the domed roof and spread across their bodies. The descenders stopped at the spot along the railing and stared out. At least 10 giraffes were idling around, chewing on leaves and grass. He waved his hand over his head and whistled loudly. A giraffe turned, spotted the crossers, and swiftly walked over. It stretched its neck across the railing, lightly bumped its big head against Noah, and batted its long, bushy eyelashes at the scouts. Do like I do," Tameron instructed. He faced the giraffe and made a clicking sound with his tongue. The animal swung its neck across the walkway, nearly plowing over Megan. When the giraffe's neck came around to Tameron, he reached out and wrapped his arms around it. The giraffe hoisted him off the walkway and over the rail. Then, with a quick drop of its head, it lowered Tameron to the ground. Other giraffes stepped forward, their hooves crunching fallen twigs. As they swung their heads over the walkway, the scouts wrapped their arms around their necks, allowing the animals to lift them over the rail and down to the grassy floor. Then they chased after Tameron, who was already making his way across Giraffic Jam. Near the middle of the building, Tameron stopped and instructed the scouts to get behind him. He made the clicking sound again and called out the name of one of the giraffes, Lofty. The giraffe lumbered over to the thin waterfall and poked his head through it. They heard a groaning sound, like a lever being pulled, and immediately the hard earth in front of the scouts began to quake. Lofty plucked his head from the waterfall and gave it a shake, raining droplets all around. A rectangular piece of the ground, big enough to park a car on, broke free and started to rise. Steel poles were lifting it, one on each corner. When the section had risen about 8 feet in the air, it halted, sending a thin shower of dirt and leaves over its edges. From one side of the new hole, a steep, dusty ramp disappeared into the darkness below. Starting down the ramp, Tameron waved the scouts along, saying, "Let's go! You can hide in the secret zoo until the cops split." The friends glanced at one another in hesitation. Then they followed Tameron down beneath Giraffic Jam. And I'll stop the video there, ending chapter 40. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and in the continuation of the secret zoo in our next video, we'll be continuing with chapter 41. But as always, guys, please take good care of yourselves, and thank you so much for watching.